If you follow my channel, you will know I use the 100mm EF lens from Canon, the macro lens. This is the I would say flagship Canon's macro lens, but it's a pretty good lens. I do love it. It's a 2.8 aperture and it is absolutely beautiful. Image quality is absolutely outstanding. Is it worth upgrading to the RF though? So they've made improvements, it's got new features. So we'll take a look at the specs and the features of this lens and compare them to this lens, see what the image quality is like and whether it's worth upgrading, or just if you're just starting out and you haven't got a lens, whether it's worth buying the EF over the RF if you've got a mirrorless camera to save yourself some cash. So let's jump in. First things first, let's talk technical specifications. I have found a subject and we'll talk about that in a second, but technical specifications, both these lenses are Canon's L glass, so they're top quality glass. We're not disputing that. We know that the image quality is going to be really good, but what are the differences? And that's what we're going to look at. We've got an f2.8 aperture and it goes all the way down to f32. I want to fact check that, but I'm pretty sure they both go down to f32, but I will fact check it. I'll put it up on the screen as well. And also we have a 100mm fixed prime. So they are both 100mm. They won't go any other focal length than that. So it is a prime. That is pretty much where the similarities end, even down to the lens hood, which is a completely different design on this new lens. So the EF version of this lens offers a 1:1 magnification, whereas the RF offers a 1.4 magnification. So you are going to get a little bit closer with the RF lens, which is a big deal if you don't want to add extension tubes or an extra attachment to your lens. However, if you're going for price and you want a cheaper, more affordable option, the RF lens is a little bit more expensive. So the EF, you could just add that Raynox on the end, which is about 75 quid. I use the one I purchased as a N250, and it's about 75 quid. So if you look at the comparison of prices of the two lenses, it will be far cheaper to buy the EF lens and add something to the end of it to make it a little bit closer. So that being said, the next thing is image stabilization. So the EF lens uses a ring USM motor, which is known for being fast and quiet. However, the RF has a more advanced dual nano USM motor. And this is quite a big deal because if you use it for video, it means that it provides you with an even faster, smoother and quieter autofocus than the previous model. So a really big thing if you use it for video. Me personally, I don't, but videographers out there, you might use that for video. That might be a game changer for you. The EF lens offers a hybrid image stabilizer, which provides 4 stops of stabilization. And the RF improves on that with 5 stops, and they can both be improved again with in-body stabilization if you've got like a mirrorless camera that has IBIS built into it, which is going to be a massive game changer for macro photography. If you're doing a lot of handheld macro photography, that's going to make a big difference. So the RF does provide something the EF doesn't, and that is spherical aberration, and that's a ring on the actual lens that controls that. The SA control ring on the RF lens allows you to control the bokeh, and it makes it look a little bit softer, a little bit more dreamy-like, and this is especially good if you do portrait photography or if you do videography. The big thing that's going to influence your decision on purchasing your new lens or upgrading is the price. So if you are purchasing it from new, the price difference can be substantial. So an RF lens, you're looking at around £1,400 brand new. An EF lens, brand new, you're looking at about £1,000 to £1,100. However, because the RF is so new, you can't get them secondhand, or you can, but they're very hard to come by. Whereas the EF have been around for so long, there's plenty of them on the market, and they're only around £600 secondhand. So compared to a secondhand EF to a brand new RF, you're looking at about £800 savings. So if you are looking to buy new, if the EF and the RF image quality is pretty much similar, then that might influence your decision to get a secondhand EF lens with an adapter to go on your R body. So the adapter is about £100, £120. If you are upgrading from the EF to the RF, then the price isn't really going to make any difference to you at all. You're obviously going to sell your EF lens and buy your new RF lens, but is it worth it? And that's what we're going to get onto now, is the image quality worth the upgrade. For this little test, I am focusing on the little bit of debris that's fallen from the sky there on this thing. Now I have to move the RF lens closer to get it to focus because it is a 1.4 magnification as opposed to the EF's 1.1 magnification. So I am moving the camera closer, but I am focusing on the same spot. So you can still see the comparison between the two shots. So I'll pop them up on the screen. Now settings wise, I'm using the exact same settings for both lenses. I don't really need to change, nothing's changing in my light. It's a very overcast day. I'm not using a flash because I don't want the flash power to influence anything. So if say for example, I take an image, then my battery decreases a little bit after taking that image and it has a little bit less flash power, or it does any like light changing or any movement that will affect the image. I wanted it to be natural as possible with just the bare minimum of what you need, which is the lens and the camera body. So that's how I'm taking this image. I will pop both images up on the screen. Let me know what you think of them in the comments. I'd be interested to know whether you think they both look similar or whether they're better. Obviously one's going to be closer than the other, but that really ultimately is your choosing point between what you want to choose, whether you want the EF or RF as well, if that makes a big difference for you. Now we're at f32, I am gonna be shooting the side of this tree here just so there's no movement because we have to go down to a 5-second exposure. I'll do it again in a second with a flash, I think, just to see what the difference is. But for now, 5-second exposure, f32, just to have a look at that diffraction and see what the image quality are like, how both lenses stand up to each other. But obviously, the next two images will be f32, focused on the tree. The first ones were f2.8, so at the highest end of the f-stops. Is the RF worth upgrading to? Well, that's entirely up to you to decide because it depends on your budget, really. Ultimately, if you've got the extra budget there to spend on the RF and you're happy to buy that, I would definitely go for the RF personally. Image quality-wise, doesn't really make a difference to me. I think they're very similar. You may get a little bit more sharpness with the RF, but ultimately, you're still getting really, really great images with the EF. What I would upgrade for personally is that extra image stability and the 1.4 magnification. Those are the selling points. The bokeh ring, probably not for me, but definitely something to think about when upgrading. And I do like the lens cap as well. The lens cap's got a little clip on it, which you can clip and it locks onto place rather than it coming off all the time. So I quite like that feature on there as well. So for me, I would upgrade to the RF if I had the money. But if you just want to get started in macro photography and you don't have that budget, the EF is definitely the way to go. So that just leaves me to say thank you so much for watching and I'll catch you on the next one.